My dear friends, let me tell you something straight. A man does not fall in love with everything he sees and hears right away. He falls in love with the mystery, the challenge, the aura around a woman. Men are wired to chase, wired to figure things out, wired to feel like they're unlocking a secret. And the moment a woman lays everything out on the table, tells every story, reveals every insecurity, gives away every thought, that chase ends. The thrill disappears. It's not because men are shallow. It's because men are designed to be hunters. And when the prey walks right up and says, "Here I am, here's everything about me, no mystery left," that man's instincts shut down. He loses that fire that makes him lean in closer, that makes him work harder, that makes him prove himself worthy. See, mystery is not about being deceptive. It's about being selective. Every woman has layers. Some parts are meant to be shared right away, but others are meant to be kept tucked away until the right time. That's what keeps a man coming back. It's like reading a great book. You don't give away the ending in the first chapter. You let the story unfold. When a woman reveals every detail about her past, every mistake she's made, every scar she's got, every weakness she feels before a man has even earned her trust, she strips herself of the power of mystery. And once that power is gone, he doesn't see her as a queen to pursue. He sees her as a puzzle already solved. Men thrive on discovery. They want to believe there's more to learn about the woman standing in front of them. They need to feel like each day with her reveals something new, something they didn't know yesterday. That's what keeps a relationship exciting, what keeps him curious, what makes him brag to himself, "Man, I got a woman who still surprises me." But when you expose it all at once, there's nothing left for him to discover. And the sad truth is, he starts looking elsewhere for that spark of discovery. Not because he stopped loving you, but because the chase ended too soon. Mystery is power. Think about it. Every iconic, unforgettable woman in history, from Cleopatra to Marilyn Monroe, didn't walk into a room with everything on display. They carried themselves with an air of, "You'll have to earn access to me." That doesn't mean playing games. It means knowing that not every piece of your life is meant to be broadcast. A man doesn't need to know your entire dating history on the first date. He doesn't need to hear about every argument you've had with your family. He doesn't need to be handed every detail of your financial situation, your fears, your vulnerabilities, before he's even proven he's safe with them. Give a man too much too soon, and he won't value it. Make him work for access to your inner world, and suddenly he respects you differently. And let me make this clear, respect comes before love. If a man respects you, he'll do the work, he'll fight to stay, he'll honor what you share. But if he doesn't respect you because you've already exposed everything with no boundaries, then love doesn't stand a chance. The truth is, men don't want perfect. They don't want a woman who gives it all away without hesitation. They want a woman who knows her worth, who carries herself like her time and her heart are treasures, not discounts, and treasure is always protected. So ladies, hear me. When you keep mystery alive, you keep the relationship alive. You're not withholding love. You're not being cold. You're simply protecting your power. Let him discover you in stages. Let him work for it. Let him stay curious, because the moment you understand that men respect mystery, not exposure, you'll stop feeling like you have to overshare to prove yourself. You'll start realizing that your silence, your discretion, your ability to hold something back, that's not weakness, that's strength. And any man who truly wants you will respect that, chase that, and never let it go. Here's the truth a lot of people don't want to hear. Honesty doesn't mean exposure. Being real with a man doesn't mean you have to hand him every single detail of your past, your fears, your mistakes, and your private thoughts. Some women believe that if they just tell a man everything, every ex, every heartbreak, every insecurity, every bad decision, that it somehow builds stronger trust. But let me tell you something, not every truth builds trust. In fact, sometimes giving too much truth too soon destroys the very foundation of the relationship you're trying to build. A man doesn't need to know everything to love you. He doesn't need every detail of your past to commit to your future. You see, there's a difference between transparency and oversharing. Transparency means you're open, you're clear, and you're honest about the things that matter right now, the things that define who you are today. Oversharing, on the other hand, is dumping every skeleton out of your closet before he's even earned the right to be in your house. And the problem with oversharing is that it shifts the balance of power. Instead of protecting your dignity and your peace, you hand over weapons that can be used against you. A man doesn't always know what to do with too much truth. Some men will hold it against you, even years later, bringing it up in moments of anger or insecurity. Some men will lose respect because they can't handle that level of vulnerability. And some men will simply stop seeing you as the prize because you gave away too much too soon. Protecting certain truths doesn't make you fake. It makes you wise. Every queen has a crown, and every crown has jewels you don't just pass out to strangers. The deepest parts of your story, your pain, your lessons, those are jewels, and until a man has proven himself worthy of protecting them, he doesn't deserve access to them. Because here's the thing, when a man really loves you, when he's invested, when he's committed, he doesn't need to know everything. He doesn't need a full confession to decide whether you're valuable. What matters is who you are with him today, how you treat him, how you carry yourself, and how you love yourself. Think about it. There are truths that bring people closer, and there are truths that tear people apart. For example, telling a man about your values, your goals, your standards, that builds trust. It shows him what you stand for. But telling him about every man who's ever cheated on you, every detail of your past relationships, every mistake you made when you were younger, that doesn't build trust, it builds comparison. Suddenly he starts measuring himself against ghosts from your past. Suddenly he starts wondering if he's just another chapter in a book you've already written too many times. That doesn't make him feel special. It makes him feel ordinary. And no man wants to feel ordinary in the eyes of the woman he loves. Silence at the right time is a form of strength. It doesn't mean you're hiding something evil. It means you understand that your peace of mind matters more than satisfying curiosity. Some truths are only meant for God and for you. Some truths are meant for the therapist chair, not the dinner table. And some truths, once spoken, don't bring healing. They bring division. That's why wise women know the power of discretion. You don't have to lie, you don't have to fake, but you also don't have to expose yourself in ways that weaken your power. Men are not looking for women who confess everything. They're looking for women they can feel safe with. And safety doesn't come from full disclosure, it comes from consistency. If a man sees that you're loyal, loving, respectful, and confident, that builds more trust than any long speech about your past ever could. What ruins trust isn't what you don't say, it's what you say that you never should have. So ladies, understand this. Protecting your dignity is not the same as being dishonest. It's wisdom. It's knowing that the wrong truth at the wrong time can destroy something beautiful. It's knowing that you don't owe every part of yourself to a man just because he's interested. He must earn access. And once he earns it, even then, you must decide what parts of your soul are sacred, what parts are yours alone. Because a man can love you without knowing everything. And in fact, he'll love you deeper when he knows that what you do share is precious, not common. Not every truth builds trust. Some truths once spoken can never be taken back. Some truths rob you of your peace. Some truths lower your value in his eyes, not because you're not valuable, but because you revealed it before he was mature enough to handle it. So hold your head high, protect your story, and know this. The right man will not need every detail to know you're the one. He'll feel it in the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the way you let him in little by little. That's what keeps love alive. That's what protects your power. And that's what keeps your dignity intact. One of the biggest lessons every woman has to learn when dealing with men is this: control the narrative. You don't owe every detail. You don't owe every explanation, and you don't owe every answer to every question. The woman who knows when to speak, when to pause, and when to let silence do the work is the woman who keeps her power intact. Because here's the deal. If you reveal the wrong things, you hand over your power. And once a man knows you'll hand over everything just because he asks, he stops respecting the value of what you share. See, men are not just listening to your words, they're measuring your boundaries. Every time you overshare, every time you talk too much about the wrong thing, every time you give him insight into parts of your life he hasn't earned yet, he takes mental notes. He's thinking, okay, so she'll tell me anything, even if I haven't proven I deserve to know it. That's how you end up with a man who feels entitled, who feels like you're an open book he can flip through whenever he feels like it. But when a woman controls the narrative, when she makes him wait, when she decides what gets revealed and what doesn't, she teaches him something powerful. Access to her is a privilege, not a right. Controlling the narrative is not about lying. It's not about manipulation. It's about boundaries. It's about knowing that not everything needs to be said, not everything needs to be explained, and not everything needs to be justified. Some women make the mistake of thinking silence means weakness. No, silence is power. Silence makes a man lean in closer, makes him curious, makes him want to prove himself worthy of hearing more. Because when you're always talking, when you're always explaining, when you're always defending yourself, you kill the mystery. You hand over the steering wheel of conversation, and with it, the control of how he sees you. Let me tell you something. The smartest women I know are not the ones who speak the loudest. They're the ones who know how to pause. That pause can change everything. When a man asks you something too personal too soon, you don't owe him an answer. When a man tries to dig into your past without having proven himself, you don't owe him details. When a man presses you for explanations just to test your patience, you don't have to play that game. A simple pause, a change of subject, a confident smile, those things say more than words ever could. They say, I know my value and you don't get the whole story just because you ask. That's control. And here's the beauty of it. When you control the narrative, you also control how a man treats you. If you reveal chaos, he'll expect chaos. If you reveal desperation, he'll treat you like you're desperate. If you reveal insecurities, he'll test those insecurities. But if you reveal confidence, boundaries, and peace, he'll respect that. He'll rise to meet that standard. Men will test you. Don't get it twisted. They want to see what they can get away with, what you'll reveal, what you'll tolerate, and the woman who keeps her composure, who doesn't hand over her soul just because he's curious, that's the woman who earns his respect. Too many women think love means exposure. They think if I tell him everything, he'll see I'm real, he'll see I trust him, he'll love me more. But no, love is not built on exposure, it's built on respect. And respect comes when a man realizes he doesn't control your voice, your story, or your emotions. You decide what to share. You decide when to share it. You decide how much access he gets. That's how you keep the upper hand. Now, don't misunderstand me. You're not supposed to be cold, distant, or secretive to the point where a man feels shut out. No, you're supposed to be intentional. That's the word, intentional. You know what to share to build connection, but you also know what to protect to keep your dignity. You're selective with your truth. You don't lie, but you don't hand him every page of your diary either. You let him earn his way deeper into your story. That's how you keep your value intact. Ladies, let me wrap this up with the truth. If you don't control the narrative, he will. If you let him dig, push, and pressure you into revealing more than you should, you'll find yourself losing power piece by piece. But if you stand firm, if you decide when to talk, when to pause, and when to let silence protect you, then you remain in control. And the man who really loves you, the one who truly values you, he won't push past your boundaries. He'll respect them. He'll admire them. Because deep down, men don't just want love. They want to feel like they want something worth having. And when you control your narrative, you make sure that loving you is not cheap, not easy, not ordinary. It's a privilege. Let me tell y'all something today. And I want every woman listening to lean in close, because this one right here, it's going to save you from a whole lot of heartache. The truth is, a woman can love a man with everything she's got. She can give him her time, her attention, her loyalty, her soul. But if she gives away the wrong things, she hands over her power. And once that's gone, it's hard to get back. See, a man don't just love you because of what you give him. He loves you because of what he has to work for, what he has to earn, and what he feels lucky to have access to. That's why I'm telling you today, there are some things a woman must always keep to herself. Now let's start with this truth right here. Men respect mystery, not exposure. You ever notice how when something's hard to figure out, men lean in closer? That's because men are wired to chase. A man needs a challenge. He needs something to unlock, to figure out, to earn. That's why when you first meet a man, he's all into you. He's curious, he's attentive, he's working hard to win you over. But the moment you walk in the door and lay everything out on the table, your past, your mistakes, your fears, your insecurities, you kill the mystery. And when there's no mystery, there's no thrill. And when there's no thrill, there's no chase. And when there's no chase, well, baby, that man's instinct shut down. See, mystery ain't about lying. It's not about playing games. It's about being selective. It's about knowing that not every piece of your life is meant to be broadcast. Not every scar is meant to be shown right away. Not every truth is meant to be spoken at the beginning. You got to let him earn it. You don't tell the whole story in the first chapter. You let the book unfold. That's what keeps a man coming back, keeps him curious, keeps him saying, man, this woman still surprises me. And ladies, trust me on this one. When a man feels like there's still something left to discover about you, he won't stop chasing. But when you expose it all at once, he starts looking for that spark of discovery somewhere else. Not because he stopped loving you, but because the chase ended too soon. Now, here's another truth you got to hold on to. Not every truth builds trust. Some of y'all think being real means exposing every detail. You think, if I tell him everything, he'll see I trust him. If I tell him all my mistakes, he'll love me more because I'm being honest. Wrong. That's how you set yourself up to get hurt. Listen, there's a difference between being transparent and oversharing. Transparency means being clear about who you are right now. Oversharing means dumping every skeleton out the closet before that man has even earned a key to the house. And let me tell you something. Not every man can handle your whole truth. Some of them will hold it against you later. Some of them will bring it up in a fight. Some of them will lose respect for you, not because you ain't valuable, but because you revealed something he wasn't mature enough to handle. That's why I say protect your dignity, protect your peace. Every queen has a crown, and every crown has jewels that don't get handed out to everybody. Some parts of your story belong only to God. Some belong to your journal. Some belong to your therapist. And only the parts that build love, build trust, and build respect belong to a man who's proven he's safe with them. Look, I'm not saying you got to be fake. I'm not saying lie. But I am saying be wise. Because telling him every ex you ever had, that don't build trust. That builds comparison. Telling him every mistake you made in the past, that don't build intimacy. That builds judgment. And telling him every fear you carry in your heart, that don't make him love you more. That makes him test those fears. Ladies, the right man doesn't need every detail to love you. What he needs is the woman you are today. He'll fall in love with your confidence, your loyalty, your presence, not your past. And that brings me to the most important part of this whole message. Control the narrative. If you don't control your story, somebody else will. If you give a man everything just because he asked, you're not controlling the story. You're letting him write it. And when you let him write it, trust me, you won't like the ending. A smart woman knows when to talk, when to pause, and when to let silence do the work. Ladies, silence is not weakness. Silence is power. A pause at the right time can say more than words ever could. When a man asks you something too personal too soon, you don't owe him an answer. When he tries to push past your boundaries, you don't owe him explanations. When he digs into your past like he's entitled to it, you don't owe him details. Because here's the thing, access to your inner world is a privilege, not a right. And when you make him work for it, when you make him earn it, he respects it more. Think about it. If you reveal chaos, he'll expect chaos. If you reveal desperation, he'll treat you like you're desperate. If you reveal insecurity, he'll poke at it. But if you reveal confidence, if you reveal peace, if you reveal boundaries, he'll rise to meet that standard. See, men will test you. They'll push to see how much you'll give, how much you'll reveal, how much you'll tolerate. And the woman who stands firm who keeps her composure, who doesn't hand over her soul just because he's curious, that's the woman who earns his respect. So what am I saying here? I'm saying a woman must always protect three things: her mystery, her dignity, and her narrative. Don't let a man take away your mystery by exposing too much. Don't let him take away your dignity by thinking every truth needs to be spoken. And don't let him control your narrative by forcing you to hand over pieces of yourself he hasn't earned yet. Because here's the truth. Love is not built on exposure, it's built on respect. And the man who truly loves you will respect your boundaries. He'll admire your strength, and he'll cherish the pieces of you that you do reveal because he knows they ain't cheap. Ladies, when you move like this, you flip the script. You stop being an open book and you start being a masterpiece that unfolds page by page. And let me tell you, ain't no man walking this earth who gets tired of reading a masterpiece. So remember this: men respect mystery, not exposure. Not every truth builds trust. And the woman who controls the narrative controls the relationship. Keep your value intact, protect your peace, and never forget, you are the prize.